I know a lot of you use GS1 as the issuing entity, so we're just going to take just a couple seconds here to take a look at the actual construction. There are some helps out on the GS1 website. You can go to their general spec and search GMN. GS1 uses global model number, GMN, as their term for a basic UDI DI. Don't get confused there. It's really one and the same. It's just a GS1 implementation. I think they use global for all their particular devices and standards, but global model number is the same as basic UDI DI in GS1 terms. Interesting, GS1 creates 2 check characters. There is a requirement to have at least 1, but they create 2. Not too uncommon. HIBIC also has 2 check characters. And there are some other special scenarios where you can read about the actual construction. It actually has 3 different components in a GMN. So the first component you're familiar with being your GS1 company prefix. No additional cost to create GMN, by the way, once you have a subscription to GS1 and have a company prefix. So this is another use of that particular term. Then what you will create is something brand new, a model reference, and this points to the particular basic UDI DI group. You can use large case, lowercase, numbers, special characters, pretty wide open there as to how you identify that. And then there's 2 check characters at the end. But there's never a barcode that is created. So this particular instance for information only, you'll never see a basic UDI on the actual product label itself. So as a real quick comparison between a basic UDI DI and what you are very familiar with, maybe a G1014, for example, for a UDI DI, you see the GS1 company prefix is repeated, but the indicator digit is not present in the GMN. The item reference that you're familiar with in a G1014 is replaced in concept by the model reference number. It's not one and the same. These are 2 different identifiers. And you know that the check digit is a single digit in the G10 construct, and all numbers. Whereas when you look at the GMN, you do have the possibility of putting some letters in there to help you identify that. And then obviously this presentation in either 1-dimensional, 2-dimensional barcode would actually appear on the label. All right, so let's look at a quick example. Let's say that you're a company that manufactures forceps and you create this particular identifier. In this particular example, the numbers are all for a company prefix, and my forceps happens to be the particular identifier that I used, and then 59 would be the 2 check characters. So inside this grouping, you might put one of your real common basic products, the forceps. Now, it's not uncommon to have multiple forceps in a higher packaging level. So you might put 3 of those in a pouch. You might actually put 2 pouches in a box. So all of those individual UDI DIs are part of this hierarchy, but there's a single device, the forceps, underneath a basic UDI. Let's say you also have in your portfolio forceps that have an extra long end to them and for extra reach or whatever, and you have a different item reference. In fact, this is 01, this is 02 down here for a different particular model or version. And it doesn't stop there. This is just illustrative purposes only. Maybe you have another version that has a locking feature on it, and it has its own item reference number, and it could have packaging levels connected to it. But obviously, check digit needs to be updated, and it goes on and on and on. Now, that is what you will eventually have in place when you create your basic UDI and assign. In this particular examples, I have 3 or more particular forceps inside my group. So hopefully that kind of puts a little bit of illustrative, explanation to the concept of basic UDI/DI. And the last thing I'd like to touch is where in the world is this basic UDI used? So there's some early requirement if you do need a conformity assessment and working with notified body, you'll have to create your basic UDI prior to actually engaging the notified body. So this is something that you should be working on as of now. There's other places it pops up. It's going to be mentioned in your declaration of conformity, certainly throughout your technical documentation. There's some additional requirements if you have a class 3 or implantable. And then at the time of reporting and registering your device in UDIMED, we looked at all those values that are part of that entry. And then it pops up other places. So the vigilance module and also the post-marketing surveillance module, there'll be references back to basic UDI. And the last one I'll just touch on here real quickly is if you are exporting your device, then you'll see the basic UDI in your certificate of free sale.